been over at the triage desk probably 10, 12 minutes, and the supervisor hurriedly came from her office on the Harry Hines side of the hospital. She said, there's been an accident in the president's motorcade and they're on their way here. Well, the words were hardly out of her mouth until the entrance doors just exploded. The first person they led down that hallway was the mayor of Dallas then, Earl Cabell. The next person that came through was a very frightened Vice President Lyndon Johnson. And then I saw this carriage come in with Governor Conley on it, and he had been gravely wounded. The next carriage I saw, I could just see from the waist down that it was a gentleman on there, and he was in nice slacks. There were no shoes on his feet, and there was a lady who I would soon know was Jacqueline, was laying across his head and shoulders. She didn't want the people around to see the damage to his head, although from the front it didn't look bad at all. The damage was back here. I got into Trauma 1. I walked over to the carriage and immediately knew that it was President Kennedy. Also, in my estimation, he was dead on arrival. I started trying to feel for vital signs. I could feel no pulses. I did not have a stethoscope at that time. So his eyelids were about half closed, and his color was what in medical terms we call cyanotic, and that means it's a bluish gray. His eyelids were about half closed, and his pupils were fixed and dilated. And at this time I noticed what appeared to me to be a big exit wound right underneath his Adam's apple and just before the notch there at the top of the breastbone. And on the cart, halfway between the earlobe and the shoulder, there was a bullet laying almost perpendicular there. But I have not seen a picture of that bullet ever since that day. Most of my time was spent just plastered against the wall. There were so many doctors in that room at the time. Dr. Kemp Clark, who was head of the neurosurgery department here at Parkland. After he pronounced the president dead, he just turned and walked out of the room, walked right by Mrs. Kennedy, who had been standing at the foot of the carriage all the time with her hand on the president's left foot. Early on, the supervisor had asked her if she would like a seat out in the hallway, but she declined. And the only thing I heard her say that day was, "No, I'm going to stay with him." So she didn't move all that time, but after Dr. Clark had pronounced him, he just walked right Mrs. Kennedy without stopping and said, "Madam, your husband's dead."